Oscar424, with occasional appearances from my corgis Freya and the recently, as in yesterday, turned 6 Galahad. But they're behind the door right now, so shh, don't let them know I'm streaming. They'll bark. Anywho, couple quick announcements. Words. It's Monday. A couple quick announcements before we start. Just as a reminder, if you missed out on any of our other Hotfix shows or past events like Flame Fatales, be sure to check out the VODs at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And speaking of Games Done Quick, as a reminder, GDQ Awesome Games Done Quick 2024 will be live and in person in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania from January 14th through January 21st. Use the command !AGDQ in Twitch chat if you want some more info. And also feel free to @GamesDoneQuick on Twitter to let us know what you're hoping to see on the games list. Or just if you want some more general information, head to GamesDoneQuick.com and find out everything you want, except the games list that comes out on Friday. Speedrun Twitter right now is panicking. But enough of that. We have a fantastic show today, and if you couldn't tell by my cute little friend Poro here, we have got some mascot mayhem. We have a fantastic trio of games from New Super Mario Bros. 2 to Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. And first, we are going to start with Spyro 3.5 Return to the Forgotten Realms with Wed. So Wed, take it away and tell us about this Spyro 3.5.
Spyro 3.5 is a fan game made by partly the speedrun community, partly the greater Spyro community, by one of the most prolific Spyro 3 speedrunners, Jeremy Thompson, as well as HWD 504, 405, 504. Anyway, without further ado, I can get started on this if you would like.
Would you like to introduce your commentators with you as well?
Well, yes, of course. Would you guys like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'll go first. I'm Nitrovsky, Nitrof for short, and I'm also a Spyro speedrunner. I've had a keen interest with Spyro 3.5 for a few weeks after it came out, and Wed and I shared a lot of brainstorming and knowledge to get the route to where it is today.
And I'm Bradley, or YW1, and I pretend to speedrun this, and for some reason I have a world record.
Fantastic. Yeah, Wed, you can start whenever you want.
All right. I guess we'll go with RTA timing for this. So, timing begins in 3, 2, 1, go. All right.
So,
go ahead.
We owe everyone some explanation. What is Spyro 3.5? Wed went into some details. It's a fan game made by a couple people in the community. But what does it do? How is it different? What is it based on? It is based on Spyro 3. All the cutscenes you're going to see, all the levels you're going to see are basically the same as Spyro 3, with the differences being that the eggs are placed in locations that are a lot more difficult to reach for most of them. And a few levels are going to have different musics, as you probably heard during the title screen already, and different textures. You're mostly going to see those differences coming up in a few levels. I guess get excited for all the differences. Some of those music tracks are frankly amazing.
Yeah, Sunnyville will be a good first taste to kind of jump you into what the vibe, what the egg placements of this kind of fan game are.
Yeah, so a lot of the eggs will involve a lot more exploration than sort of the regular Spyro 3 experience, and a lot of it will also be based on the various tricks that the game has. If somebody wants to pick up on what he attempted to do right at the beginning there.
Now, I noticed Spyro is a slightly different color. Is that all you can change cosmetically with Spyro, or are there other little nuances to what it can look like as you play?
So this design for Spyro, this is based off of his one of his early designs. He used to be green before that was changed due to one of probably the best reasons. He blended in with grass. Now there is actually a secondary build of this called the exploration build, and in that one he's actually a more crimson color. And the exploration build is sort of a more easier version of it. But like it sort of makes some of the egg locations a bit easier. But this is the one that's used for speedrunning.
So that was Sunnyville. There's a lot of different strats that can be gone there. There's like so many different backups. There's so many different routes to do with that level that can vary anywhere between like a minute and 20 seconds long to a minute 40 if everything goes right.
Yeah, like that level is purely proxy based. So at the start, he tried to do what is called a dead body proxy. When you kill an enemy, their hitbox will it will continue to exist for a brief moment of time, and what Spyro can do is he can actually charge through these. Now, the game doesn't actually let you go through a hitbox in certain ways, but charging is one of them. So if we interrupt the charge for a single frame, what we can do is we can actually have the game spit us out of a hitbox, and we can keep all the momentum and store it in a different way. And does somebody want to explain that kind of proxy?
That one is similar. I mean, I don't even understand why that one works, if I'm honest. But you get basically shot very quickly upwards by the gust from the winged Rhinoc hitting you. Like, is that one? The gust has infinite height. It goes all the way to the bottom of the map and all the way to the top as well. And if you hit that too far from where you're supposed to be, I guess it shoots you up. But honestly, I don't understand why it sometimes works and why it doesn't. It just does.
So, something to add a little bit more context to Stormy Spires there. That level was one of the biggest nightmares to route, I feel like, out of every level that we did.
Yeah.
There's so many weird quirks going on at that level that had me doing things in a very particular order.
Yeah, so the main issue with Stormy Spires is actually the egg called Anchovy, which is the one we ended there on. There are two different sort of conditions that we can meet that will actually allow us to grab the egg. There's an enemy in the level that we can kill to activate it, or we grab the egg Vanessa above it and Death Abuse. And it's like, that really sort of forces our hand in terms of the route, and just it made it a pain.
And
At this point, you're seeing Spyro is currently swimming in the air. That is a glitch that we call swim in air. A very inspired name, I know.
Speaking of names, I'm noticing a few of these names are very interesting. And a question I saw posted, who are the eggs named after?
A few of them, a lot of them are like members of the community.
Gotcha.
Some of them are also developers. I think every single developer that appears in the credit has an egg to their name. And I know some instances have special egg names that are unrelated, but kind of still have logic behind them. Like later in the run, you're going to see Wed get an egg hidden in a chest. Those eggs are named after magicians.
I like that.
And there's also a few eggs in a level called Chicken Itza that kind of has an Aztec theme in this fan game. And those eggs are named after Aztec deities.
One of the levels that you will end up seeing later on as well is a level called Future Ruins that every single egg in there is the last name of one of the more recent doctors in Doctor Who.
Okay, you have my attention now. I'm a classic Who girl, so the third Doctor, John Pertwee, is my favorite, but...
Yeah, I'm sorry, they're all modern.
Yeah,
No, that's totally fair.
It's all new Who.
The subject of egg names brings me to another subject I wanted to address. All three of us, as far as I know, I don't remember whose egg Wally is, but all three of us have an egg to our name.
I don't
in
have
the
one.
game.
Yeah, well,
You don't have
I
one?
don't actually have an egg.
I am upset.
Justice
I-
for Bradley.
I don't know how I got forgotten.
It might just be a super secret hidden egg that's... should
I'm
totally get
so
put in, and so we
sorry.
can...
No, I mean, well, we could poke. We could poke JT.
Yeah, there's two eggs that we don't know the name of. Well, we do know the game of because we asked the developers. You don't normally see the name of those eggs, but we could petition to have Wally Bradley being one of those.
Oh, you Justice for Bradley. Make a trend.
Unfortunately, Wed's egg is probably one of the worst to get in a speedrun, so you won't see it
Oh,
in this run.
Yeah, mine's one of the
You will
slowest.
see me. Every single speedrun of this game has my egg.
That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I can hear the
I have to stare
excitement
at
from
the wall.
everybody else.
It's okay.
It's like,
I hope you guys looked at looking at that step there. Spyro really liked looking at it. He was very interested in that staircase.
Yeah. Like we're in Molten Crater. We start off the level with another type of proxy. We've actually seen pretty much all of the different types of proxy there are. We saw a scenery proxy in both Villa and then a little one in Stormy, but that one there was an animation proxy. Certain enemies have a little bit of an animation which will allow Spyro to basically proxy off of it, and for that one we can use the Boar's animation at the very start of the level in order to get Spyro to basically the end of level guy. So we immediately start with actually completing the level. And then all of this is then done it's all done backwards, isn't it? Except for this little part.
love both the such a happy look on Spyro's face as you were getting the Mo egg, and then I love how walls are just not even suggestions at this point.
Yeah, they're pretty one-sided.
That's fantastic.
Here's the first wizard magician egg, Houdini.
Nice.
That Mo egg thing is actually a slightly more recent thing.
Yeah, I didn't even realize you could back it up.
Yeah, I was messing around with it one day and just learned that the animation change from you falling into a flop is just enough to squeak you right in there to get the egg trigger.
So what did at the end of that level was take damage until death, but pause the game right before that happens on the same frame where he died, and now he's in a state we call zombie. He cannot interact with water planes, which is basically the sole reason why we use it here. Not interacting with water planes means that you get a free swim in air as soon as you exit this room right here, and that helps you get all the way to the egg at the far end of the level here, which normally we would probably need a high proxy to get. So this route makes that egg basically free. It's still one of the slowest egg to get. Yeah.
This egg right there is one of the ones that's being considered as like a top candidate to be removed. It's so easy to do, but it takes so long to get to and get back from. Like, all of the eggs are in such like a dense location at this point that if you're wasting more than about 20 seconds, they're generally not worth it.
Oh wow. Now
that is basically one of the things that Wed and I discussed at length, like what egg is worth it. In the first iterations of the route, there was an entire extra level in the last homeworld that we did and that we eventually managed to remove. And we also entered a few side areas that we now have completely removed. Outside of, I think, the one in Mad Monster Crater, I think we don't enter a single other side area. Is that right?
Sounds correct.
And that one is only worth it because it has 3 whole eggs in it. Another particularity of this fan game is the fact that all boss fights have a hidden egg that serves to skip the bosses completely. So what you saw with there, what do is get hit by boss midair towards where that egg is, collect the egg, and then he doesn't even have to fight the boss.
Now, is that egg only active at the very beginning of the fight, or at like maybe halfway through the fight? You get booped over there.
It's active at any point before the fight has been won.
Yeah, as long as you haven't collected the egg via quote-unquote normal means, that egg exists there and it's able to be gotten.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like, there are a few eggs in this fan game where they have sort of alternate collection methods, and the boss eggs are sort of, they come under that list.
What the creators have done for this level is interesting. Already in the original game, this level is particular because it's the only level where Spyro and a critter, in this case Surgeon Bird, share the same level. They basically go through the same area. And what the creators of this fan game did is they basically moved Surgeon Bird's talk trigger to a completely different location, which you have to normally find if you play the game casual.
So that Roland's not there in the vanilla game, just to be clear.
Yeah, that's one of the whirlwinds that have been added. There are a few of those in the in this this fan game, like, and basically that serves as just another purpose. It serves 2 purposes. It allows us to get over to Sergeant Bird, or Captain Bird, as he is in this, who is way better at traversing this level than Spyro is. And also it then also allows you to complete the bone dance minigame with Spyro. But that minigame is very slow. And then, yeah, a little bit of relief for Wed there. This level does have an issue, so the 3 rockets in the level are usually only at the end of the level. So they're all in the same sort of area. With them being so spread out, it's very likely, or it's very possible, that a rocket can be despawned on its way to the statue. And if that happens, it won't destroy the statue and will therefore softlock the end of level egg. So
Until I exit the level I'm waiting to.
yeah.
It's a huge time loss. So just knowing that, because we know exactly why it happens. It's if you end up taking too long getting to that one egg on the door frame after hitting the rocket, you're pretty much guaranteed to soft lock yourself out of finishing the level. So I knew as soon as I ended up like getting all the movement there fine and clean that everything was going to be good. Doing some cleanup in home world right now.
Yeah, this home world is significantly different from its sort of vanilla counterpart. There's a pots minigame where you just destroy 4 pots. In the vanilla version, it's all 4 of those pots are more or less in the same area. But in this one, we actually have to grab them in a certain order so that we don't end up basically throwing the egg into the void. Ooh, nice proxy one.
Yeah. I proxied too good.
Yeah.
Don't give me the jump. Okay, cool. I can possibly show off the thing.
All right, here we go.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So what was that?
In this level, you start as Spyro, which is already not normal, and you get to meet Surgeon Bird later. And as you meet Surgeon Bird, you spawn out of bounds instead of spawning in the map. And what Wed did there is he used that as an opportunity to get 2 extra bird cages that he wouldn't be able to get normally if he was already in bounds. We shot that door from out of bounds, which triggers the fact that Gabrielle is going to get to the next area and teleport you. And before he got teleported, he managed to free up 2 extra hummingbirds, which will save him I think it was 15 seconds or something at the end of the level there.
I think it's less than that after doing more attempts and stuff, but right. it is a pretty considerable amount. There is a bit of weird extra setup that you have to do there, which was me purposefully avoiding the gem from that one net swinging winged enemy. You have to avoid that because you need to waste a little bit of extra time for Gabrielle. She has to take 3 or 4 seconds to get around that enemy, and that's just enough time for us to grab the extra hummingbird.
Dang. So a question I have kind of burning the back of my brain is, I know with all the tricks that you've been doing in 3.5, are a lot of these, for those that might not be familiar with the vanilla Spyro, a lot of these tricks the same in 3, or are there some that are different?
It's the exact same physics. So everything that you can do, if the level is not modified, you can also do in the original.
Yeah, pretty much everything is doable in both versions, but there's a decent amount of the tricks in the original version that are more considered obscure game knowledge than anything else.
Okay.
For example, that Surgeon Bird level was different from the original in that fact, because in the original you start as Spyro, yes, but you immediately speak with Bird, so you don't even get to play as Spyro, and Bird spawns inbounds. So there's really not much to do to make that level interesting in the original. But in this one, there was a lot. Another difference is going to be coming up in 2 levels, I think. Icy Peak.
Yeah.
In this version, they lowered the death plane, or permaflop plane, as we call it, which allows to get a swim in air that's not normally possible in the original.
Yeah, you'll see that coming up soon. There's some weird, funky, somewhat difficult jumps in the next level. If I do that route, there's 3 or 4 different routes that could possibly happen depending on what happens.
I'm guessing if you get Bug, you just get everything with swim.
Yeah. Ooh, Bug's looking good. Bug is looking like I went forward. Let's try to show this off.
Arguably, horizontal Bug is harder than vertical Bug.
Bug, please.
Really?
Oh.
Okay, I guess you guys are just seeing me run through the level normally.
Not doing the Broxilus backup then.
No. At this point, I might as well just get the swim.
Fair. But this is actually one of the levels with Man Monster Crater was another one, but this is also another level with a full texture hack, and it's supposed to be a lot more sort of pleasant and also quite a bit more high quality, I feel, than the vanilla one.
Where do you think they grabbed these from? Wasn't it it wasn't Lofty Castle, was it?
No, I think these are pulled from some other game. I think I could be wrong. I don't know exactly.
Funny enough, a consequence of me playing this game and speedrunning it for a while is I don't really notice those differences anymore because that kind of became the normal for me now.
Yeah, every time I see the credits and I see like the vanilla levels, it's like, oh. Oh.
You know, and that's another interesting thing. Like, how difficult is it to move between like vanilla and 3.5 and back?
Vanilla.
I haven't gone back yet.
Yeah.
Well, I did some like original Spyro 3 any percent, but that was not enough.
I mean,
We were really pointed.
I mean, vanilla becomes quite a bit easier. Like, I don't think you.
Yeah, I mean, there's less required of you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just doing the rest of the cleanup here, grabbing a couple eggs before going into Icy Peak.
Yeah. Like, where vanilla, you do half of this stuff just to sort of show it off. In this, it's like, it's required.
Gotcha.
As mentioned,
So this is the
yeah,
this
go
is the
ahead.
level I talked about where they lowered the permaflop flame. It would not be possible to do what Wed is doing right now, just gliding under the map there, because the permaflop flame would grab you and basically make you die. To explain things a bit more, I guess, there's basically two types of planes. An actual death plane, every level has one, and then permaflop plane, only some levels have it. This level has a permaflop plane. It's just there for visual normally, but it does like prevent you from doing some tricks. And now what Wed did is just glide under it, and then get a swim in air on that piece of water. That's basically, it turned out that piece of water is just under a piece of cracked ice on the main level. If you break that cracked ice, those two objects just get swapped. So as long as Wed doesn't break that cracked ice, he can still use that piece of water. But yeah, long story short, you wouldn't ever see a swim in air and icy peak in the normal level.
That's
in the normal game.
That egg collection location is just that's unbelievable.
I made that egg look a lot easier than it is. That one is extremely finicky to grab.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, but it's way better than the previous method that we had.
The previous method, we had to go up from underneath the entire column, and it was just, you had to move really slowly up it.
Now, I know Bradley's still trying to decide where to put his egg in the game, but did you have any say in where your specific egg went? Or is it just, oh, let's find where we are in the game?
You know, your timing is impeccable talking about that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We didn't have any say about it. Like, most of us didn't even realize that there was something like this coming up until
Who's
the
wait?
day
No, who's
before.
the? I've never heard of that one. Is
I
it-
don't know, some washed up speedrunning.
yeah.
washed up until
Here we go.
until like 10 days ago. I still had the record.
But that was 10 days ago.
Like I said earlier, we're all washed up.
Oh, that's fair.
All right, everyone.
See, that's why they made the egg in the very obviously collectible spot. So you still you maintain that positivity.
There's not too many special spots you can really put that one. Like, the main idea behind that one was like, oh, there's a stand spot that the acid just doesn't hurt you there. So we'll put the egg there.
Fair.
All right, so it's pizza time now.
Chicken pizza.
Yeah, this
Chicken pizza.
so this is a fun level. There's a few routes for this one. It's all dependent on the proxies. And
Nice.
yeah, there's the first one, and then hopefully you'll get the second one. But yeah, there are 3 eggs in this level, which are quite annoying to obtain. Oh no.
This is unfortunate, but it will allow us to show off the backup, which is also very impressive in
Yeah.
terms of jumps.
Oh, weird. They put an egg in his house.
Yeah.
What?
Basically, this backup jump is the only reason that we're doing those eggs, because otherwise it would like be very slow. Oh, you skip straight to that now. That makes a lot of sense. How much easier is it?
Oh, it's so much easier. I went from like 25% to like 85.
Nice.
This level has arguably gone way smoother than it was probably expected.
No, I was kind of expecting it to go like this at this point. That jump has like entirely saved the split for me.
I also saw that out of bounds proxy last time you ran. I guess you did that on purpose, huh?
Yep, I go for a wall proxy there. It's pretty replicable.
Nice.
Yeah, that is arguably one of the hardest levels. Or especially if you especially if you're on like pace, like it's very easy to sort of end up losing multiple minutes there. But
I think that's the second worst one.
Yeah.
I think the worst is coming up after the level I'm in right now.
Oh yeah.
Is that fleet or charm?
Fleet.
Fleet.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, so that is that was Firefly Prophecy, or at least an attempt there. There's actually a funky thing with Firefly Prophecy in this version, which you'll see right at the end of the split. Usually you just do that, get up to this, get up to the end of the level. But they sort of wanted to include something to almost act as a troll.
Of course.
It definitely feels like a troll.
Oh, it definitely is.
It looks like this.
But yeah, in the end, he said to just run through this level. There's not really anything too special here. The rest of the eggs in this level are just way out of the way. Like two of them in particular are really out of the way. There's one in the minigame area, but this egg here.
Yeah,
If you normally do Firefly Proxy, you end up most of the time just landing right in that spot, trying to like break the ninja box. But if you do it there, you just end up falling right back down. And
instead of saving the 35 seconds that Firefly saves, you save about 10.
Oh, fair.
so the route for this level is pretty interesting. It evolved a lot over time. Originally, we didn't even get the egg at the top of the ship, and eventually we found out that, hey, the jumps to get up there are actually pretty easy. But the latest development is if you manage to skip the egg animation that you get, that's going to be at the top of the mass that he's going. No, let me backtrack a bit. If you manage to skip the egg animation, or the egg that's in the crow's nest that Wed is going to get while swimming in the air, when you respawn from that, you can get all the way to the top of the ship as well. But the problem with that, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why Wed says that this is probably the worst level for losing time.
Yeah.
Is that if you're just like one frame late on skipping that, you will die late while swimming or something. Yes. You will still be swimming when you respawn, and that causes you to have to re-enter the level.
Yeah, because this is acid water. Spyro is basically getting instant killed all the time.
And it happened.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Unfortunate.
So
Yeah, ideally I would have died right there. I would have respawned in the air, and I would have been able to glide right over to the next egg. But instead I have to re-enter the level, and we'll be getting to show off the jumps.
I do like that there are plenty of backups available. Like when something doesn't go wrong or doesn't go right.
I don't know if I'll call this one backup. I usually call this one the run is over.
Fair.
This
The reset button.
loses a lot of time.
Gotcha.
A backup would have been like if that was the last egg you'd get in the level, we would probably replace it with another egg in a level later on.
Yeah, if it weren't for the fact that we had 4 more eggs to get,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
then yeah, we would just go somewhere else.
I think it stems from the fact that at some point before we started this run, Bradley really wanted to really lengthen out this run and just be here as long as he possibly could.
No. Go faster, please.
I'll go that for timing's sake. Makes it a little bit easier for me to time a zombie having 1 health.
Yeah, a couple of...
The strong chest still broken? Oh, good it is.
One thing we didn't cover yet is what are the requirements for beating this game?
No, we did not.
That would kind of be a useful thing to know. What are the requirements for beating this game?
In the original game, in order to access the final fight, the sorceress, you need 100 eggs. In this version, they opted to lower the total to 80, which is very convenient for us because any more than 80 eggs would have us add a few more very hard, inconsistent eggs into it.
Yeah.
Or slower. So
Yeah, 80 eggs allows for a lot of sort of fluid routing, and in the case of both this category and the other sort of no sorcerer skip category, second ending, the egg routing was it sort of became one of the main things in how this speedrun would function. Whilst, it's very convenient that the egg requirement has gone down, I think it also sort of added to the complexity of getting the correct route.
Absolutely. The fact that so many eggs are just especially in second ending, so many eggs are negligible for time. They're right next to a pile of gems. They're on the route. And there's some that you straight up just have to skip out on. Those 50 eggs is not a lot.
Yeah, I'm constantly just in my own head of, have I got the right route for second ending? Have I got it, or is there more I can do?
why did I never think of going to there from the right side? It makes so much sense. Why?
I remember when I saw it. It wasn't me who did it first.
I thought, did ZBM do that first?
Maybe ZBM.
I know the only reason why I never thought about it is purely because I was too scared to even think about what was standable here.
It's worth mentioning that level is supposed to be played as Bentley the Yeti, but we don't even see it at all. In this hack, they've been kind enough to allow you to completely skip Bentley, which is arguably the slowest critter in the game, the slowest side character to control.
We could try and find Bentley and we'd be able to get another egg for it, but Bentley is so far out of the way.
Spyro.
You
You
can
can't
get that.
technically get that egg without going as Bentley. You just need to death abuse on it as well,
It's still really slow though.
unfortunately.
Alright. Charm Rich.
That's solid. I thought that wasn't solid.
Yeah, that's
I'm just
solid.
gonna fly right through it. Nope.
The way this level is normally completed is you get to the end of the level, and then there's that one cat wizard that's holding the gate bridge of the fort closed, and he's right by the bridge. So you normally don't have to look for it, but in this hack they just moved it to a very remote location, so you need to go all the way over there to kill that cat wizard just to be able to get the end of level egg. To note is, despite that egg seeming very slow, it's required because in order to access the boss, the first, second, and third boss in every homeworld, you do need to defeat a specific set of you do need to collect a specific set of eggs, 1 egg in each level. So that one is required because of that.
We're going to ignore that proxy. That proxy never happened.
Wed, please.
What
Wed,
is...
please.
Huh? I'm so confused.
That little bush treetop heard that we were ignoring that proxy and said absolutely not.
I want to sleep. Wed, please.
That shrubbery is in fact Pepperidge Farm and it remembers.
Oh, you're not doing the really dumb indirect cat wizard proxy.
No. That proxy right there is actually required to reach this egg. You don't have enough distance otherwise.
And it is the sole reason why I consider that getting that egg is not a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm not consistent at that proxy, but apparently Wed isn't consistent enough.
Yeah, I'm much more consistent due to, like, for years doing, like, any percent, or, like, all the other, like, non-completion categories for Spyro 3. You pretty much always had to do that before we actually figure out how to do Cat Wizard proxy as well.
That's it.
So I just got used to it from there.
And now is the third, and I guess, yeah.
Third and final
Penultimate
secret
boss. Final secret egg. This one is, I guess, not more hidden, but it's a little further out than the others.
It's an obscure location because you wouldn't really think too much about going out to these teeth. But yeah, there it is.
Thanks, Ethical.
Yeah, and this one we're actually exiting out on because you're just way too far away from the rocket there for that to ever like go well. Plus, like, there's so much RNG involving like enemy spawns and fireballs that could potentially freeze you in place on the arena that just make it so you had to exit level anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotcha.
And then the last fact is that if you exit the boss normally through the rocket, there's a cutscene that plays. But by exiting level and then using the rocket normally, you skip that cutscene, so it doesn't actually lose as much time as it looks.
Yeah.
Nice.
You hit that at the right angle, you don't skitter there and you just fall right off the edge.
You get that at the wrong angle and you don't fall at all and you have to quit game and come back.
Yeah.
I did not know that that was possible, actually.
Yes.
I had to do that in my 150 egg record.
Oh.
I was about to say that did not sound like a happy revelation.
No.
No, it's not. That's the difference between that's like a solid like 30, 40 seconds, I would think.
Oh, jeez.
Because dying on that egg is what allows you to actually continue. If you don't die on that egg, you respawn in that location. And that wouldn't be a problem if it was a side level. Because in a side level, in a normal level, you can just exit and re-enter. But since it's in the hub, and you can't go anywhere from there, your only solution is save game, exit, and come back.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is the final level, basically, or like the final normal level. We just go and get swim in there and grab every egg. There was an egg there, locked behind the key chest, but as we found out, we can just get it from out of bounds. And
That one was named after Chris Angel, another one of those magicians.
and then this,
We won't be seeing the last one, Copperfield, I think.
yeah. I think Copperfield is Spooky Swamp, and then we've got the one in Future Ruins, which is Blaine.
Right.
Oh, nice.
And that second to last egg that you picked up there, that's also one of the other eggs that has an alternate collection method. Like,
Okay. Looks like Wed has technical difficulties.
yeah,
No worries.
I thought that
That is
was mine.
unfortunate, so close to the end.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll be able to hear you.
I think Wed's internet is dead, so it won't be. Because he's not even responding, and the Discord stream is gone as well.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Yeah, we are having a little bit of technical difficulties. That is totally fine. We have an awesome tech team. Shout out to our tech team, my wonderful producer. We'll be right back. Go to a quick little break. We'll come back and we will get everything sorted. Oh, we're back, everybody. Hello. Give a huge shout out to Tech and our wonderful producer, Railcoon. They did an amazing work, and we are back. So I'm going to just be quiet, pass it back on over to Wed. Wed, whenever you want to start, give a quick countdown, and we will get the timer started.
Okay. We'll just try to get back on this as soon as possible. So, going back on go. So 3, 2, 1, go.
So as I was just briefly explaining before the previous tech issue there, so the second to last egg that you collect in Amethyst Isle was is an one of those eggs with a sort of alternate collection method. Usually you would just collect that one in a minigame area, but that one exists there to sort of serve as a backup for if you fail the main method.
And then Wed just collected the egg called Tuval. Tuval is the one that discovers the trick that makes any percent in the main game possible. And now collecting the 80th egg, and we're headed to the final boss. Final boss is the only boss in the game that doesn't have an alternate collection method like the first three. So we're actually going to see the full fight
You did it, Spyro.
with a slight twist, which is going to come in the form of a texture hack.
Ooh.
And
Now-
the texture hack will only make sense to people who know about the fact that the OST that's playing right now is the same OST as the first Homeworld, and that is a quirk of the 1.0 version of the game. So instead of like adding in the proper music for the boss or custom music for the boss, what the creators decided to do was just hack in sunrise spring textures into this boss fight. So now instead of fighting in the rocky area, you just fight in a grassy arena with wooden borders right beside lava. So makes sense.
Yeah, I see nothing inherently OSHA non-compliant with this.
Yeah, this is all fine. So this
I mean,
fight
grass
has-
is pretty fire retardant.
Oh, totally. As long as it's not touching or near fire, it's totally fire retardant.
yeah.
Away from my drink.
This fight has 3 different phases. We've got the cannon phase, which takes 2 hits, the tank phase, which is 4 hits, and then we've got a UFO phase. But what we generally try to do is we generally try to manipulate it so that we don't need to worry about the UFO, but doesn't.
Try to.
Yeah. Like Jeremy was also sort of very instrumental in figuring out this boss fight. Like he sort of figured out which cannon would always drop first, and then sort of also worked out a lot of the Agent 9 behavior.
Almost coming, by the way.
Yeah.
Nope.
And it went a long way to sort of making this fight a lot more consistent, as well as just faster in general.
Of
As
course,
you
you get
can
a sheep drop.
Totally see right now. It's faster.
Shout out to that sheep, though.
It's okay when you're washed up.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. I think Wed took offense to that one.
I said time. I said time.
Yep.
We're done.
Jeez.
No, I did not take offense to that one. I am washed up.
Oh, man.
And that has been Spyro 3.5.
That is...
Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for bearing with me as my computer exploded on me for no reason.
One last thing I want to mention is this is actually the first fan game based on Spyro 3 that we've had in the community. So considering the scale of it, we're looking forward to more people coming in with their own fan games by variations on the base game. I don't know. Anything. We're actually approaching a point where we'll be able to create and have entire new levels in there. So there's the future is bright.
Yeah, like in terms of being able to actually sort of make a lot of modifications or literally creating new content from the original trilogy games that are from the years like 1998, 1999, 2000, like it constantly evolving, especially now where it's like it's almost sort of taken off.
It's a funny thing.
Yeah, we're, if anybody wants to watch either you or get involved with the Spyro 3.5 community, where can they find everybody?
Yeah, that's a fair point. If you want to see me do some more Spyro 3.5, hopefully without my computer crashing, you can check me out at twitch.tv/WedSR. Feel free to check out the commentators as well, being Yes Wally1 and Natrovsky. They stream from time to time. If you want to get into Spyro, we have a Spyro speedrunning Discord that we have the run hacks as well as all of the other games, which you can find on our SRCom, or is it? Do we have an easy to read Discord link? I don't know.
I doubt it.
Don't believe so.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, probably the best way to find it would be to go through speedrun.com. Once again, thank you to Jeremy Thompson and HWD for making this hack for us. Or run hack. Fan game. Now, fan game. It's a fan game.
Remake.
Bradley?
Thank you so much to them.
Is that true, Billy?
And
the wonderful commentators?
yeah. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And you got Kirby up next.
Sorry, Spyro. Hunter made
believe.
me promise not to tell you where they went.
Should be a good run.
Have a nice one, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, well, as we get ready and get all set up for the next run, I do have one little quick thing to remind you, and that is your subs, your Prime Gaming subs, your gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick Hotfix. That's this right here. So please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily speedrunning content. So yeah, with that, we are going to get ready for our next run, which is Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland solo ability with Dark Souls. So stay tuned, and we will be back shortly. Enjoy your hydration break.
Spyro? Oh, break. Let's watch this.
Welcome back, friends. We are back with some more Express Lane, and right now, before we get into our next run, I just want to remind you that pretty soon, particularly October 20th through the 22nd, GDQX will be live from TwitchCon. The event's going to take place on the Games Done Quick stage, as well as have it actually just be streamed live on our Twitch channel, which is this right here. Use exclamation mark GDQX in Twitch chat to find out more info and to check out that schedule. Also, okay, maybe if you're not watching this on Twitch, but you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you press that like button on this video and subscribe to the channel itself. Also, you might want to go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content. But speaking of our live content, we're going to be heading over to Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland with Solo Ability Beam run by Dark Souls. So I guess you could say you could Play-o away.
Or alternately, we will beam away. But hello. Hello. I am Dark Soul 188, or you can call me Dark Soul or Soul. There's a few things. But what I'm here today for is to show a side of Kirby that doesn't tend to get shown a lot as far as this game goes. Most of the time this shows up in marathons and whatnot, it's usually main runs. It's stuff like 80%, 100%, Meta Nightmare, which are all really fun runs. But we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. So time will start when I hit one player. So 3, 2, 1, go. And I will just let the first few seconds kind of just explain it on its own. You see that? We're grabbing it, and that is what we are carrying through the game. Aside from the part where I just took a hit immediately. Because we here sometimes have weird. Is it? Yeah, let me do that.
Perfect timing for the beam comment.
Yeah, let me do that then, I guess. Not sure what's going on. This is awkward because I do see the issue. I don't know why it's doing that. I mean, maybe. Let me see. I think I know what might have happened. I know exactly what might have happened.
I'd say when I called this episode a mascot mayhem, it was a bit of a misnomer. Tech, have fun. 100% my fault. And
Okay, that's not changed anything. I don't know what's going on all of a sudden. We might need to, because I am very sorry about this. I don't know.
all right.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know what. I don't know
we're
why
gonna
this is
be-
happening.
We're gonna be figuring out our little audio hiccup. Too much beam, too much polio. So go back to that hydration break, and we'll be right back with more Kirby. We're back! Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Everything's fine. Nothing's on fire.
Hi-
It's
hi-
all beam.
It wouldn't be GDQ Hotfix or Games on Twitch anything without tech issues.
So, for those of you just tuned in, we are running some some mascot and tech mayhem right now with Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland solo ability beam, which we'll talk about exactly what that is, with our runner Dark Soul. So Dark, reintroduce yourself.
Yeah,
Introduce your comms.
All right, first of all, let me go ahead and get this started. So 3, 2, 1, go. All right. As I tried to introduce myself earlier, I am Dark Soul 188, or you can call me Dark Soul or Soul. There are a few things I go by. We're gonna grab this, we're gonna carry this through the game, and show a little bit of a different side of Nightmare in Dreamland runs, since a lot of the time this shows up, we see like 80%, 100%, Meta Nightmare, all really fun categories, all really good. But anyways, alongside with me is kind of a partner in crime, Quill. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I think partner in crime is a very great definition of that. My name is Buzaquill. I'm also a Nightmare in Dreamland runner. I mostly do like any and hundo, but I really like dipping my toes into these really cool single ability runs that Dark Soul does.
Alongside another one, no copy abilities where we don't use any of them.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
In fact, he and I have definitely both gone at each other, trying to get the time down as much as we can. We've actually found some recent discoveries for that one. Maybe one day we'll get the shoulders off, but very quickly, I know the mini boss we just went through kind of died in like 2 seconds. That is because we are able to juggle the ability in certain situations. The main requirement is that we carry the ability through each room, each stage. Sometimes this can be easier said than others, especially the further along we get. But this is actually one of the first runs I have done, one of the first solo ability runs I ever did for this game. I've done it with pretty much every ability you can do it with at this point. In a lot of cases, I've been one of the only ones to do it, and aside from, I think, Sparks, someone's, like, completely, like... Someone actually took to that one and did really well in it.
Are there certain abilities you can't do?
Definitely.
Yes, pretty much the main ones you definitely can't do it with are Sleep and UFO.
UFO. There's also like certain abilities are one-time use, or in Mike's case, 3-time use. Use it once and then the ability's gone, so you can't really do much with that.
Yeah, and in that case, you end up having to just juggle the ability almost the entire time. It's actually not that fun compared to the others. Like this one, see, Beam does have like an attack. It does a little beam. It goes down in front of you. It's sort of low damage, but it's actually not too bad. Depends on what we're fighting. Most bosses are going to be fine. They're not really too difficult with this. Certain ones, like say the Meta Knights that show up in the next world, would be a little bit trickier because there's one called the Axe Knight. They like to hit you if you're really close to them, and we have to be close enough to hit them. So you can imagine how you might need to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, and interestingly, those particular enemies take multiple hits from being to kill.
There's one that takes
everything else dies in one.
Yeah,
hit.
one dies in 1 hit, and the rest of them die in 2 hits. Also, this is Wispy Woods. He takes 15 hits. So we're just gonna beam attack his trunk repeatedly.
Yeah. Oh, and he gave me
the actual pattern I'd want here, where he can do one of 2 things. He can either do an air puff or he can do apples. If he does apples, I have to actually dodge the apples, or well, things could get bad very quickly. If he does air puff, I have to just keep attacking because I'm safe right there, and unfortunately for him, I'm just gonna keep beaming him until he's done.
Look, Wispy felt bad.
Definitely a good pattern there. Yeah, the apples you could work with a little bit, but especially because you have to re-grab the ability, it's risky, so it's definitely...
Yeah, and I see somebody mentioned UFO and ladders. That is half true. It can't go down the ladders, but more importantly, unlike Adventure, the game this is a remake of, we don't have a way to keep UFO permanently. So there's just no way to do it.
Yeah.
Not without other means, we'll say.
I also will note, Dark Soul did something really interesting in 2-1 at the very end. You lost your ability.
Yes, but since this is what we'll do, we just wrap it back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So it's definitely memorizing where certain enemies are that can give you the ability that you need are instrumental to this run.
Yeah, and I see somebody also asked for the other ability. Yes, if we can't get it without easily just taking the enemy in 1-1, we miss for it. Some of these are harder than others because the way you have to time them, missing is a 4-frame window for pretty much any ability.
Wow.
And some of them are very limited. Like, for example, there's Throw, which is very easy to get on a Mitz, because we can Mitz the 2 waddle dudes, just let the Mitz roulette play out fully, and then you'll get Throw. Unfortunately, the only places you can get Throw is from, I believe it is, 4-4 and 7-2, where we fight Fan. That is the only enemy in the game that does it.
Actually, there is a Fan in 6-1.
Oh yes, there is 6-1. There is 6-1.
But you don't want to fight him. He's really, really fast and scary.
He's also you also have water, which is also not fun.
definitely the hardest fight in the game. If you really want to challenge yourself, do that.
We won't feel bad if you don't. And I'd say, okay, what were you about to ask?
So with the different, because looking at your speedrun profile, you've got a lot of different like solo ability runs.
Yes.
Are there like pros and cons to the different ones?
There are several. So probably also one of the hardest one is surprisingly one of the most prominent in the usual speed runs, which is wheel.
Really?
In a regular speed run, we're juggling several different abilities. Like we'll use burn in a few places, we use high jump in a few places, sword shows up a few times. But wheel is definitely one that shows up probably the most for its amazing movement. This also applies to Amazing Mirror. This applies to Sweet Spot. Pretty much, the games of this era definitely like wheel. Unfortunately, we have a boss later on called Heavy Mole, where wheel has the property to break hard blocks in this game. Heavy Mole's entire arena is hard blocks that break. And there's a little bit of hit lag, so you have to like mash the button to get out of wheel, or else you drive down, make your own hole, and die. This can happen even after the boss is defeated if you decide you want to be cheeky and just do wheel for some reason.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting vibes.
It is very painful.
Yeah, it's seriously. I think things like Kirby single ability runs are chaos embodiment.
That
my
too.
attention.
So you're thinking, oh, it's just single ability. How bad can it be? And it's you find out very quickly. Certain bosses are a pain that way. Honestly, probably the hardest one isn't wheel. It's actually backdrop.
Oh, yeah, that one is tough because backdrop, it's really only effective if you, so basically what it does is you grab an object, like a star that's created by an enemy or just an enemy.
Or even like the projectile, like sometimes, like you saw the accidentally throw an axe, you can actually grab those with backdrop and throw.
Yeah, with backdrop, it's a really, really strong move if you can get that grab on the ground and hold it there, because you have intangibility during that whole frame. I don't know how long the window is. It's pretty long, but
I think it's like
big damage.
3 or 4 seconds. It's decently long. Like you can like absolutely kill a boss in the time frame you get with it.
Yeah, but if you, and that's only if it's on the ground. If you grab it in the air, Kirby just kind of grabs it and throws it, and it does, like, so much less.
Yeah, and honestly, back to that Heavy Mole example. Heavy Mole is probably the hardest fight with that, because you either have to juggle the ability and not use it, or you have to, like, basically do a frame-perfect grab of the enemy that's about to be fired out to actually do damage. It is a nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare.
I see someone is asking if there are crash runs out there.
There is. I've done it. I've done it.
I gotcha. I gotcha, fam.
It's rough.
Yeah, there's that, and I think what's even funnier is that there's actually a Crash Your Game percent with Middle, because there's a very weird glitch that happens with Crash in the water.
What?
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Ooh.
Conversely, there is a mic run also, which you do get to use it quite a bit more because of its the fact that it is 3 uses instead of 1. And that one is actually surprisingly fun for what it is. Light, on the other hand, don't do it. Just straight up, don't do it. Light does no damage. You have no choice but to juggle the entire time. It is just no abilities with extra steps and more obnoxious. Just do no abilities if you really want to do light only.
Yeah. And I mean, it's even harder because you're well, I guess unless you're in one of those dark rooms where you can get it or mix it, you're fat Kirby most of the time. You really don't want to lose it too much.
Best slash favorite Kirby. Honestly, it's a toss-up between this game and Forgotten Land, and it kind of switches places each day. As for the ones that aren't possible, it is UFO because there's no way to keep it permanently, and it's Sleep because Sleep's mechanics make it impossible. Like, there's no way to keep... The only way you can feasibly do it is bits for Sleep in every possible room, and even then, that's it. You can't do anything else with it. It's not like, say, Battle Royale. The one and only time that Sleep's actually had a moveset.
Oh.
And I love the people that voted that ability to be DLC for that game.
So, like, what got you into these solo ability runs? Because they are very niche.
Okay, so
oh boy.
Wait, before we had category extensions, we have what we would call the memer boards, and one of them was beam percent, which was go through the game with just beam, go through every room. I was the first one to be able to manage to actually do it. And then I've actually, like, taken the time down several minutes from that point. Like, the current record is 49:25. Mm-hmm. And in practicing this recently, I've actually been on pace for 48 a couple times.
Wow.
But if there's any ability I know really well, it is this one. I've done this on several games with Beam only. I've done this one. I've done Amazing Mirror. Amazing Mirror is an interesting one for different reasons. So if you want to see me suffer, I could do that one day.
So, I see someone asking why UFO is impossible to keep, and that is because when you finish a level with UFO, you just go back to the hub world, unlock the level, and then you're back to regular, normal Kirby.
Yeah, there's no way to keep it. It's not like Adventure, where Adventure has a glitch that lets you keep it permanently, and that's why there's also No Stone Glitch, which is very much mostly UFO. And honestly, very, very fun. I love that category a lot. I actually ran that one for GDQ, I think, this year, actually. So, yeah, that one's a really fun run. It's one I would do for this game if I could. But again, aside from, alternate means to force it, there's no way to actually do it legitimately.
Mm. Also, my burning question every time I've seen Nightmare in Dreamland is, as someone that hasn't yet played this, but is so fascinated by watching it, what does jumping onto the different, cloud platforms at the end do for you?
For the most part, points. The reason we do the 7 cloud is that's the fastest one we can hit, and also the lowest. Gotcha. If you did the top cloud, you get, an even longer dance and a 1-up. If you're playing this casually, it's a really great time because, hey, you did the thing. For speedruns, it's very slow, so we really don't want it.
Something I actually managed to try once, and this was something that was rumored to me as a really cool Easter egg with the cloud mini games, is that if you get 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 all in a row, you a bunch of UFOs pop up when you get the very last one, and they're all holding a sign "You're a great player," something like that, and then you get 24 1-ups. It's amazing.
I don't think I've actually seen that.
I tried it once and I actually ended up getting it. I didn't think it was real.
By the way, to the person that says about wanting to play Amazing Mirror, if you have the Switch expansion pass, it has recently come out on Switch, and it runs amazingly on Switch. I highly recommend it.
It is so good.
The multiplayer is also really fun. It is on the laggy side. However, that is not because of the Switch. That is because, unfortunately, Amazing Mirror is a GBA game, and that means it struggled.
It's look, I have enough games on my backlog. You don't need me staring at my Switch right now. Oh, yeah, I'm probably gonna download it.
But also, Amazing Mirror is just right there. Honestly, hopefully, I'm hoping this game comes to it soon, because with how well the GBA emulation is on Switch, It's honestly a treat. Also, I'm gonna need to be a little careful here. Never mind. I took out the moon fast enough to not have to worry about that attack. And
Nice.
the sun is also being.
That was
This is the nicest sun, shining bright I have had in a while.
That was fantastic.
So
Gee.
a lot of the time. So the way that fight works is one goes into the air, the other stays on the ground, and can be attacked. The one in the air will try to attack you. For the sun, he does like actual sunbeams that will burn you. And the moon will just drop stars on you. We were able to beat them fast enough that they never got to attack. Or rather, the sun was very close to attacking. I was greedy on that, and I should not have done that. I am surprised I didn't get punished.
How dare you be good at this? Like you've played this a few times or
There was a
something.
reason I have jokingly called myself the Beam Queen a bunch. There's a reason that also shows up in comments here and there.
Love it. Become as Kirby and kill the sun and the moon.
Yes, pretty much. Also, I'm playing that a little bit safer. There is a Waddle Dee here, but a lot of the time they like to join the Sir Kibble and then make it a pain in the butt to actually get the Waddle Dee.
Now 4-2 is in 4-2 is I'm excited to see the details of this one.
Yeah, this one can be a little bit. The rest of this, most of the stage is fine. It's not. It's under. It's a lot of it's gonna be what we've been doing. Very, very quick and tight movements. Careful. A little bit of carefulness just to make sure we don't take damage, because we don't want to lose beam if we can help it. It would be annoying if it happens. But at the end of the stage, we have a twin mini-boss fight with two Poppy Brothers seniors, and they both will throw bombs at us, and it will be a tricky moment. Speaking of, here they are. I'm gonna move off to this. Just move there a little bit just to make sure they don't hit me. I'm gonna get some attacks off as they jump around. Okay, good. We got rid of one of them, and now this is gonna be a lot easier.
Ooh, that was good.
And now this one is just going to be the same thing. We're going to do that just to make sure he doesn't hit us, and we're done.
Yeah, that fight can definitely get a little bit obnoxious.
What got me into Kirby in the first place? I've been into this for most of my life. I got a copy of Kirby's Adventure when I was like 6, and it's been history ever since. As for speedrunning, honestly, this was the first time I thought about seriously speedrunning.
Oh wow.
It was gonna be any percent, because this is like right after like one of the marathons where they were gonna do like get into speedrunning. So it was like, I'm gonna join the server and look into learning any percent, and then somebody was like, I've got this record in Powerless, which is what No Copy Abilities is now. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try that. I ended up liking it so much that I ended up getting world record by the end of the year at that time. And I held that for like 1.5 years before it finally got absorbed.
That is impressive.
Because that Quill ended up getting into it. Quill's really good at the front also. Shasta got into it for a little while himself, and Quill and I were both like, how the hell is he finding this much time save?
Yeah, it was amazing. Just,
back then it was...
And then here we are, and we just all of a sudden come back with all these new developments.
Yeah, just back when I had it, like there was a joke of like sub 50 is totally possible, but it didn't seem like it actually would be. And Quill and I both learned that no, sub 50 is not only possible but easy.
Oh,
easy-ish.
With like
Easy
5
as I have not
managed.
I've not managed sub 50 quite yet. I'm like right at the cusp of it,
Yeah,
but Quill
same.
has.
Sub 50, what really, I mean, movement really matters, but there's a manip for the final boss in that category now, and that's what saves all of the time, because Dark Soul, unfortunately, is at the mercy of
A lot of RNG.
King DDD and a lot of RNG, because the beam can kind of mess around with his patterns by attacking him. Can't do that in no copy abilities.
Yeah, anytime you attack him, he basically re-rolls his attack. So I have to be a little bit careful because he can just suddenly dive at me, or he can inhale me, or he could go for like a jump. So when we get there, you'll see that I'll be a little bit more careful. I try to stay at like kind of the edge of my range, so I have more time to react.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I think like him floating up is actually pretty good because if you attack him in the air, you get a little extra time.
Yes, you can usually get like 2 attacks in when that happens. I'm gonna move here so this one doesn't hit me, because this one likes to hit me, and he still hit me. That outside is mean. I'm also gonna play a little bit more carefully here, just to make sure these water birds control you by dropping in front. Or almost like that one did, but thankfully we were fast enough to not have that happen.
Kaizo Bronobirds.
It's more likely to eat fate in this game.
God, I didn't realize how you can fit between those bombs right there. That is such a tight-looking window.
There's a couple of those. And what's interesting is that the Barnabas have actually Kirby too, just have smaller hitboxes in their bodies.
Oh.
Kind of suggest.
Yeah, speaking of trolling enemies, we also have these frauds. They are called Slippies. Because for some reason, well, if we had an annoying fraud in a Nintendo game, I'd have 2 nickels. It's not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, frogs are all RNG, and this is not the last time you'll see them. There's a lot more of them coming out. There's the light enemy. Goodbye, light.
Yeah, shout out to Cool Spook, probably one of the neater enemy names, and this in the original or the only games it ever appears in.
Oh.
We call it a Halo dude.
Oh jeez, yeah. Shout out to Halo Dude, like one of the original no ability runners. Also ran I think 80% a lot back in the day. Also, we need to be careful for Krakow, because Krakow doesn't constantly chase us. What the game wants us to do is grab high jump, but we're not doing that. And now we're safe. And if you're wondering what we're going to do, well, we're going to beam attack it, as we've done every other boss.
What?
And so this time we have to jump to hit Krakow most of almost the entire time.
Yeah, and what's really nice is that Dark Soul knows pretty much exactly what Krakow is going to do because his first like 3 or 4 attacks are all fixed.
Yeah, the first 2 they're always do lightning and then swoop down, and I can do a lot of attacks in that time frame.
Gotcha.
And also with good timing, if Krakow does drop an enemy, which is usually semi-frequent, I can usually get attacks and safely fight that. Krakow is surprisingly safe in this run, and then in like no abilities, Krakow is one of the worst RNG fests of the entire game.
Oh.
And even if you do manip, Krakow can just randomly drop it on you. Not you messing it up. Krakow can drop it on you.
Of course.
For free.
Yep. For free, indeed.
For the low perfect price of $3.99, this boss can ruin your...
Speedrunners hate them.
Yep, and Krakow...
Speedrunners hate them.
And Krakow is...
What you say?
Krakow's definitely also taught us about how RNG works in this game, too. Like, something that even little enemies do, like, I was just talking about this with Dark Soul earlier, was the high jump enemies that you see on the cloud, if they fall off, that completely changes the seed, which is very strange.
It's also almost entirely beyond your control. So if it happens, you just lose them in it. That's it.
That is bizarre. Cool, but bizarre.
Heavy Mole is almost as much of a nightmare, and yet, ironically, it's less of a nightmare than Krakow. That's okay. sponsors decided to be kind of mean. Okay, I thought he might jump in front of me. Sometimes that happens.
Oh, totally fine.
Yeah, definitely got the more common pattern there. I think the best pattern would probably be when he sits.
Yeah, if he does double hammer, then we just
out.
get to keep attacking in that case. Instead, I have to play this safe now because the end of this stage has a spike corridor that is with fun vertical movement. Luckily, I do have a safe way of doing it. Even at 2 health, it'll be fine. It's more I just want to make sure I don't take any more damage, so I can get a little bit of a top up at the end. Otherwise, I am going to play this room.
This is very dangerous.
Yeah, this room is terrible if starting out. It's very long. There's tons of enemies. It's very easy to just take a lot of hits on the way until you really got your movement down.
Yeah, the Sparky and the Hothead in particular are
oh yeah, the
pretty
Sparky is
notorious.
especially
The Hothead is
the Sparky is especially evil because if that one hits you, your option is to die. You fall. You fall. Kirby stays in like a kind of a electrified state. And does not go out of that state until a very long time has passed or you hit the ground. So
and the Hotheads are also snipers too,
yes,
and it's the same
I have absolutely lost runs to Hothead sniping me. In fact, one of the early runs last week, I was like at 1 health entering a stage, and I'm like, I should be fine as long as I don't get sniped by the Hothead, and the Hothead snipes me like immediately.
Oh.
I was like, I'm fine until I'm at 0 health, and then I was at 0 health.
Well, Hothead heard you, clearly.
Oh yeah, this game definitely is voice activated sometimes.
So, out of curiosity, because you've done so many of these beam percent runs, which Meta Knight arena is your favorite?
Honestly, I would actually say 3-4s. 3-4s is both one of the safest and probably one of the neatest to actually get correctly. The one I just did is probably a close second because it's if you know what you're doing, it's mostly safe, and you can sometimes get double hits on like the enemy above and next to you, and that makes it even quicker if you can get it. My least favorite is the one after this in 6-6.
Yeah,
because you have ice. Bad placement of platforms, ice physics galore. It is not fun.
And yep, Dark Soul just demonstrated that Kirby does indeed have a very tiny hitbox, even as Fat Kirby.
Yeah, even if you're floating or you've got something in your mouth, Kirby's hitbox doesn't actually change.
Well, that's interesting.
So we did the rare occurrence of grazing an enemy, but not actually touching them.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Ice fists are always fun. You have not seen Kirby ice physics. You've especially not seen Legend of Zelda ice physics, which honestly works. Okay, surprisingly good. Very good Fire Lion. The only thing that could have made that better is if I got double hits on Fire Lion, because that's actually the only mini boss you can do that to. And if any luck, I won't get trolled by these enemies. Good.
Then don't put that juju into the air.
This was originally a GBA game. It is why I'm hoping this comes to Switch Online at some point, because it would be nice to run it on that.
I'm wondering, multiplayer, it could be done, but it would be relatively boring to my knowledge.
For this game, unfortunately, yeah, it's not as interesting as Amazing Mirrors. Amazing Mirror, actually, is a really neat multiplayer speedrun. I know a couple are doing like 2-player runs. There's a and those two and another have definitely done 3-player stuff. It's honestly really cool.
There's 4-player co-op. And recently, I wonder, Dark Soul, if this might actually interest you, is that recently there's been bingos and races about those kinds.
Yeah, I figured those might be back on the rise. I need to actually try those sometime. Also, this is heavy mold. This would be kind of a nightmare for some runs.
Oh,
Beam
yes.
has probably one of the easiest times here. Just heavy mold doesn't really do anything other than this. And normally heavy mold has more invincibility than the other bosses, but Beam's attack is just slow enough that we can actually spam it and not have to worry about that at all.
Yeah. The only thing Dark Soul has to worry about there, and thankfully it didn't happen too much, was that arm that can go like down and around.
Yeah, sometimes the arm can hit you if you're a little too close. And this is probably where we start entering actual scary stages, like this one, where if I take damage in the water, it is going to be a very bad time for everyone involved. Thankfully, that is not what happened. And then we have this room, honestly probably one of the more satisfying ones in runs where we don't have like burn-in or some other speed ability. Because it's... I practiced that one a lot. I make it look easier than it kind of is, but it's also very satisfying once you get it.
That definitely shows you that Dark Soul's a very skilled no-copy abilities runner and can rely on Kirby's movement.
Yeah, and for solo ability, a lot of the time we're also relying on that same movement because, like, Beam here doesn't have that the option of like a burn-in dash, unfortunately, or high jump where it can do really fast vertical movement, or wheel, which wheel is just amazing. Period.
Wheel is wheel; it runs things over.
Yeah, just the timing of the jumps on that one level just looked so clean. Like you could just tell you've run that so many times.
I have both done that a lot of times, and I remember practicing this world especially at one point and figuring out that whole sequence.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this sword kibble just in case they decide to have a moment there, and they didn't, thankfully. That's also one of the scarier rooms, because we lose the ability, it could just go into the pit, and that's it. It's just gone.
What do you have to do at that point if you're not allowed to hit the reset button?
In that case, we just... Honestly, for this one, we would soft reset, go get it in another stage that we were in previously.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't just leave a level.
I thought he was gonna jump towards me.
Ooh. That's a particularly annoying bonkers I've noticed in pretty much every run. It's a problem.
Yeah, that one where we have like a shorter arena, so we don't have as much room to play with. Mitch would just bonker sometimes deciding to do, and actually you're not anticipating can compound, and we end up just taking a few hits sometimes. But even 80% doesn't have the easiest time in that room. Also, I'm just gonna beam through those so I don't have to deal with them. That whole room can be very scary for the same reasons as above. Also, if the ability hits the water, it's very hard to get it back. And if we don't get it like instantly, it's also just gonna pop and go away. And then we have to go get beam again. It's not fun. Tricky bosses and tricky rooms are tricky. Surprise, surprise. Also, that Waddle Doo was surprisingly mean for once, and I will have a talk with them later. But we're here on the stage here, and then this one decides to act up. No, we're not having that.
Of course.
Most of them played it a little bit safe, just to make sure we don't run into any bad situations later. Because we are getting close to probably one of the harder rooms of the run, and it is very easy to die and or lose the ability, luckily we can just go back and get it. In the stage, we just go back to the last room. It's just more the matter of having to do that.
Yeah, and for this room, there's no real consistent strat that anyone's come up with that's been foolproof. There's just too much randomness.
Yeah, UFOs are very erratic in their movements, so that makes it very tricky sometimes. This stage actually isn't too bad most of the time.
I love the background aesthetic of this stage.
That's actually something that Nightmare in Dreamland, I think most of the community agrees on this. Maybe. But the backgrounds in Nightmare in Dreamland are very, very, very good. In compared to Catan, I think. That's a pretty good consensus.
They were exploding coconuts.
Exploding coconuts.
I hear they also have explosive flavors, but not too many have lived to tell about it.
I love it.
And now it is time for the UFO family reunion. There are a lot of these. I'm going to be very slow in this room because I don't want to deal with them. And I also don't want to die.
My goodness.
Okay, that one was trying to be cheeky, and there's one more. There we go. It is, and now it is over. The reunion went better than I would have expected. I expected to die at least once in there.
Double Frosty is a very fun fight.
They were also very nice. I was able to just take care of both of them without any real problem. I am going to wait for that Flippy. I do not want it to hit me at this deep into the run.
I was about to say though, I blinked. I missed the boss fight.
Yeah, even though Beam's damage is kind of low, we do actually more damage than you would think we would.
Fair.
Okay, I need you to move forward closer. Thank you. Okay, this outside's being a little mean. I need this outside to... There we go. Thank you.
Nice.
Alright, I'm gonna play that a little bit safer, and then we're good.
Whew. There we go.
Alright.
Okay, now...
Yeah, that's a very, very tough arena.
Yeah, now, for the one part of the game where I have to say, unfortunately, we, have to use something else, because the game makes us. Unfortunately, Meta Knight will not fight us with anything except for a sword, so we are forced to actually use sword. Thankfully, the game disses it back afterwards, so it's fine.
It's totally a beam saber. I don't know what you're seeing, but it's totally that.
Totally a beam sword.
Meta Knight was not too kind, but made it through that. Meta Knight can block a bunch of attacks and just run at us and then take most of our health. Fun fact, in this version, if we die, we actually lose the ability.
Oh.
But if we win, our ability is returned to us as normal. And that hothead decided it wanted to play. I'm gonna just grab this. We should be fine. Otherwise, I'm going to let that flamer just run off. It can go wherever it decides to.
It's going on its next adventure.
The flamer didn't respawn.
Yeah, I've noticed if you slide in that kind of exact way, you just barely avoid it respawning.
Mm-hmm.
And if you break the blocks after that, then you will probably make it respawn, and then it effectively chases you, and you have to like spend time to hit it, or let it hit you. One of the two. This part's gonna be rough.
7-2. Yep. This is the infamous 7-2 boss rush.
And there's Bonkers, that's okay.
Or Notorious.
Bonkers is the easy fight. This part is
There's
it.
our boy Fan.
And then Fan decides, no, I'm gonna actually be weird. There we
looks
go.
so happy,
I know,
doesn't it?
right?
Ow.
Yeah. This Fan is very, very, very fast and very volatile. You can do a lot of different things.
Yeah, I'm playing it very safe because I do not want Fan to do any more to me than it already has.
Fan's like, let me love you.
Oh my, oh wow, that is a rare occurrence.
What? Just what?
The jump to dash.
And then I got him to do it twice. That was a bad Bugsy. He did not want to play nice at all.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna...
Fireline is thankfully not, I think, probably the more generous one of the bosses to beat.
And he almost decided not to be.
Of course.
This was a curse 7-2. The harder door is faster because we only fight 4 bosses instead of like 8 or 9.
8. Yep.
Unfortunately, they are faster and harder.
Fan loves to cause grief. Yeah.
That is Fan in a nutshell, and it's why we have several nicknames for him. Like Elephun and Fan P and certain other nicknames that shall not be spoken. Honestly, I actually like Fan. I think it's a very cute design. But when she'd show up more.
It's always the cute ones you have to be worried about.
Yeah, exactly. And this game is very much known for that.
You can actually see Fan in an episode of the Right Back At You anime, I think.
Yeah, I think it's only in like 1 episode. But it is in there. It is also very much friend-shaped. It is very much a friend in that one too.
Okay.
I don't like this
another
age.
little bit random level.
So is anyone
like this
familiar
approach
with
here.
like Mario Maker and you know the some of the harder stages where people just throw enemies everywhere? That's basically this.
Oh joy!
It's one of them stages. I want this ball to go away. Please, thank you.
that ball said absolutely not. I'm staying.
Yeah, you know what? I don't trust them either.
Yeah, the pig and the ball clock rooms, as these are colloquially called, are a lot more random. The Bronobirds and the Flamers
are much nicer by comparison.
So they're much nicer. Ooh, nice jump, nice short hop there. Really good movement.
And we'll just get rid of that one so we don't have to wait for it to fall down and explode. We're actually safe even if it does. I just don't want to wait for it. It would only leave when pits fly. I regret to inform you. They didn't jump good. And if you thought we were done with problematic things, we were not. Now we have all the bombers, all of them.
Oh jeez.
Yep. This is like effectively an auto scroller.
And then our prize is to fight Grand Wheelie again, and that is not the greatest of patterns, but I can actually work with that. That was not the way to do that.
RNG manipulation.
This boss still causes problems all the time. That's a very annoying wheelie.
Don't worry, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine.
Whew. Man.
The scariest room of the entire game.
I was getting mixed signals by that. This is fine, and the clear panic and dread creeping in your voice.
That was. to be fair, that is usually my mind every time I do it. Because on the one hand, if I do everything correctly, it is in fact fine. It's actually surprisingly safe. But if I mess up at all, I am not going to live through that room.
Oh, wow.
Because there's like 4 of those actively chasing me, and they are ready, hot and ready, to come at me. By the way, Barnaby controls.
Nice.
I really like the movement in 7.6.
Yeah, this is still a really fun stage. For anyone who remembers Adventure or especially Dreamland 1, this is still, you know, the retrial stage. Honestly, still decent, even though the enemies are colorized now instead of just Kirby. I'm also going to grab this for safety because we are going to need it for what we are about to do. If I didn't have it, I would have, let's put it this way. There is a switch in this that we call Moon Room. I would go for that if I needed it. That is how important having full health is for the next fight.
I'd like to just point out that Dark Soul got through the Scarfies over the pit and didn't flinch at all. Very good.
Yeah, that was.
Run this game like 100 times. You will eventually get there. Also, I'm gonna make him dive this way just to give him a little more distance and then attack.
Oh, and then he gets.
It gives me like 3 of them at once. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Rude.
Very nice. Oh.
By the way, he takes 25 hits to take down. DDD has 100 HP. We do 4 damage per hit. Okay, good. I actually missed. That's actually the outcome I wanted in that situation.
Really? What is that?
Yeah, it's funny. The float is the best pattern you can get in this category, but it's pretty much the worst one you can get in any other one.
Oh.
Yep, there he goes.
And for all intents and purposes, that is it for Beam, because unfortunately we have to use Star Rod for this because of reasons.
How dare the plot interfere with this solo strat?
I know. The plot decides, nah, you can't do that actually, and then we're just trying to force the consider like, okay, that's fine. The Star Rod is technically a beam if you really think about it. We're just firing beam stars instead.
Wasn't
we argue that Kirby's using Swift.
So something that should be pointed out about this fight is that Dark Soul's actually on a timer for this fight. It's a generous one. As you can see, Dark Soul's making pretty quick work of this boss fight, but you can die if you take too long.
Oh.
I also see some people were like, hey, it's Smash. Yeah, that is actually the Smash version of Fountain of Dreams. It is the only Kirby game where there's actually the case. The rest use a version from Air Ride. If they use that song. But yes, the Star Rod could be a beam attack if you think hard enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But time will be coming up on last hit. And he takes 6 hits.
Nightmare, invincible when his weak spot is inside the cloak. Exposes it, boom. Hit it with the projectile because the Star Rod itself, if you hit with it, does like very little damage compared to the projectile. It's a very, very noticeable.
Yeah, the rod itself does like 2 damage, stars do 10.
Today I learned there are actual values.
There were values for every attack in the game, and I memorized a few of them. By the way, that's time.
GG. Just casual time.
But yeah, by the way, that's time. And for me, that was actually a sub 50 run, which is still pretty solid. But most of that time was being near the end.
Jeez.
Wow. Hey. Yeah, that was good.
Soul, where can they find you, or if there's a community for this? Where can we send people?
first of all, we do have a community for this series. If you go to speedrun.com/Kirby, you'll find like our main server that covers most of the series. Definitely would be glad to have you if you want to learn this game or any of the others. Honestly, for any category, I'm probably the main one who does this one though. As for myself, otherwise, I do stream pretty regularly on Twitch itself, twitch.tv/Darksel188. I do have a Twitter and stuff with a similar name. But I did recently make a Blue Sky thanks to an invite, and on there I am Beam Queen Sol, and I am going to be changing things to that in the near-ish future to make things more consistent.
Awesome. Quill, how about you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so twitch.tv/musicquill, pun off of musical, but it's just quill, like a pen. And same thing for Blue Sky. And pretty soon, Dark Soul and I will be participating together in a race of no copy abilities for the Kirby Twinkle Speed Stars event coming up as well.
Yeah, shout out to our Japanese community for that one, by the way.
Yeah, that's going to be really a really fun one because it's going to involve some international participation.
Oh, it's going to be so
really
awesome.
Big.
Yeah, so if you want to see him and I actually finally race in this for the first time, definitely be on the lookout for that.
I mean, you can always check out Grudge Match if there's any scores to settle after that.
I mean, that's true too.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Maybe eventually.
Well, everybody give one more shout out, GG's, to the wonderful Dark Soul. We do have one more mascot, a low-key, small, unknown mascot named Mario. They'll be coming up next, so stretch and again get another bit of a hydration break. We'll be right back with the final run of today's Express Lane. Hello, friends. Welcome back for the final run of Express Lane for tonight. Don't worry, we'll be back in 2 weeks. But for right now, before we start the run, I have a couple of quick things to say. First and foremost, did you know Games Done Quick is still hiring? So if you're a business developer, or if you have some experience in recruiting sponsorships, and you kind of want to work for GDQ, awesome! Apply at gamesdonequick.com/jobs. But yeah, that's it. That's the announcement. I'm going to be quiet now because we're going to go to, again, a little unknown mascot named Mario for new Super Mario Bros. 2 run by MChan338. So, MChan, take it away.
What's up, everybody? My name is MChan338, and welcome to my speedrun of new Super Mario Bros. 2 for the Nintendo 3DS. Now, unfortunately, even though it has the 2 in the title, it's actually not the second game in the series. The second game is actually New Super Mario Bros. Wii for the Nintendo Wii. But it's still a great game. And so today I am joined by somebody who I know as someone who's ran Sonic the Hedgehog 2 twice at SGDQs. But he also knows a bit of Mario as well. So hello, Alec.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm AlecK47, and yes, I used to speedrun New Super Mario Bros. For the DS until hand cramps became too much of a problem, and I just really enjoy this New Super Mario Bros. Series in general. So, I've been asked to commentate this a couple times. I was actually on Etiquette's couch years ago when he ran it at SGDQ, and yeah. It's a fun game, fun run, and this is my favorite category, potentially, although I also like all castles a lot.
Oh, yeah. This, Warpless, All Castles, and 100% are 3 of my favorite categories of this game. There are a lot of categories in this game, but today we're playing Warpless. So time actually does not start until I start moving on the map, which means I have to get past this 50-second cutscene. So I'm just going to go ahead and just start right now.
That's all right. Chat's still trying to figure out who this Mario character is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who Mario is. It's my first time.
is a little bit obscure, yeah.
I just love the stacks of coins behind the statue to Mario.
So I'm gonna be playing the warpless category. So a lot of people who are familiar with speedruns of this game are familiar with the any percent category, where in any percent there are warp cannons that you use to skip large portions of the game. So the any percent run is like 26 minutes long. In warpless does not use warp cannons at all. So what we'd be seeing is a kind of a intended way through the game. With a few exceptions. It's twice as long, but it's also twice as fun, in my opinion. All right, here we go. Get ready to start time in 3, 2, 1, go! All right, so beginning the first level, right off the bat, you're going to notice that I am going to go a little bit out of my way to get star coins. Now, this is not a 100% run, but I'm getting star coins anyway, because scattered throughout the overall map, there are these 5 star coin signs that will take you to either toad houses or just a different part of the map. And for the different parts of the map, they lead to either faster levels or just a shorter path through the map.
That's going to be happening several times throughout the run, actually. There are only going to be 6 worlds played, because there are branching paths going out of worlds 1 and 3. The warps route, of course, goes down. If you look at the little screen there, the bottom one, you can see that there are additional worlds down at the bottom that are not numbered. So instead of being world 8 at the finish, it's world 6. This category, not only do I think it's more entertaining because there are fewer auto-scrollers than in any percent, but any percent isn't actually that much slower because of it.
Wow.
It isn't actually that much slower than any percent.
Yeah, it's about like 20 minutes slower than any percent. And so throughout the run, we actually get a total of 15 star coins, and those are all within the first 3 worlds, so the star coin routing is pretty precise early on, but after World 3, we don't need any more star coins. So the first couple levels are pretty basic, and now we're going on to 1-3, which is going to be the introduction to the main power-up of the game, which is the Super Leaf. So if you played Super Mario Bros. 3, you might recognize this power-up. It's very busted in this game, unlike in Mario 3. So you can fly, and on the bottom left, we have the P meter. And normally when you're flying, you lose horizontal speed for vertical height, but as you're seeing, what I'm doing with all these spins is a little technique called spin fly, where if I'm just mashing run and jump simultaneously, then I can keep my speed while I'm flying, due to pretty much how the physics work in this game.
Yeah, it's not that difficult to pull off, honestly, but if you drop it, it's a bad feel because it slows you down so much otherwise. But this allows you to go at great speed and kind of go up and down as you need to. So you're going to see Mario kind of weaving his way through a number of stages quite quickly with that spin flight over the course of this run. Meanwhile, it is faster to jump up. You get faster vertical movement that way, so even if you got P speed and decided to fly, you're still going to want to land, not just to refresh the flight every so often, but also to jump off of things to get quicker vertical momentum. And here is like 2/3 of Reznor. It gets
Again, I
a little
blinked.
bit more.
I missed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fast. So yeah, Reznor is a returning boss from Super Mario World. He's the boss of every tower, and the way you fight him is similar to how you fight him in Mario World, but in this game they added more creative ways of how to fight him.
Yeah, so you'll see like different kinds of wheels and other stuff like that. Obviously, not every Reznor will be fought in this run, but you'll see a couple, at least one variation in World 6 that is a bit different.
Yeah. All right, so after getting that star coin right in the beginning of this level, we now have 5 star coins, which is going to be convenient for the next level, because the next level that we're going to be doing is actually not 1-5, it is going to be 1-A. And the reason we do 1-A instead of 1-5 is because 1-5 is a water level, and which is like by default slower. You lose like 50 seconds doing 1-5. So this, like right off the bat, it makes the star coins worth it.
Now I keep seeing those different colored rings throughout those levels. Are those like warp portals or something else entirely?
So one of the main gimmicks, or at least the intended gimmicks, is that you're supposed to just collect all the coins ever. As you can see, there is a maxed out coin counter on the bottom of the screen in the main map. So as you play through the game more than once, it's just in general on a cart, you collect coins, and maxing that out actually saves a good few seconds over the course of the run. Not a lot, but given that it's not actually that painful to go to one specific spot and farm ridiculous amounts of coins, you skip that countdown at the end of every level, and those rings and all sorts of other things will just give you tons of coins kind of along that theme.
Oh.
So if you think about some other rings, like a red ring will spawn red coins that you pick up to get a power-up or a one-up. The yellow ones will spawn similar things with just a bunch of coins.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so this is our first castle. And I flew up to get that second star coin. Very precise setup with to get P-Speed in order to get that. There are a few points where setting up P-Speed is like you have like just enough space. So you have to like line up your movement just well enough. So this is one of the key things in optimizing your movement throughout the game is how to maintain P-Speed throughout a lot of these levels. So the boss of every castle is a Koopaling, and this is Roy Koopa. And much like in a lot of Mario games, if you fight bosses the same way, then you get very consistent results. And so I know exactly when Roy's going to come out, and so I just hang around the spot that he comes out of the shell and hit him right away. And you do that 3 times, and then the key will spawn, and it's faster to fly up to the key rather than just wait for it to descend downwards. So that was the first world completed, and now we're moving on to the second world. Which the second world is where the game starts to pick up in difficulty. You know, World 1 is like the basic introductory world to get you familiar with the game, but now they really start to kind of challenge you in World 2. Where you're going to be seeing a little bit tougher tricks.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, this level, this world absolutely has some pretty cool levels, and you can see that little golden brick that's following Mario around right now. That's going to be used 1 or 2 points in the run, not in this level though. What it does is it puts a little coin brick on Mario's head, and as he moves, he collects rings. It also gives you an extra hit that you can take, so that is going to be useful. In particular in one place, and possibly as a backup in others. But as you can see here, this level is just absolutely trivialized once you get P-Speed.
Ow.
Yeah, so the second level has a vertical section that you're supposed to use moving platforms to ascend upwards. But of course, just like with a lot of things, if you set up P-Speed so you can fly, you can skip the vertical section and get to where you're supposed to go much quicker. So I need 2 more star coins. I just got 1 of them, and now I'm about to get my second one in order to get to 5. As the next level is going to be 2-A instead of 2-3. This one saves like 12 seconds over 2-3. But because of the time I spend getting a couple extra star coins, as well as spending the star coins, you end up saving a net worth of 6 seconds. With the trade-off of having a much more difficult level than 2-3.
But honestly, quite a bit more entertaining to watch as well. So you, the viewers, can get to appreciate this one. This one is a fun level to watch for sure. So in this level, as you can see, there are these platforms. And when Mario is running on them, he adds his speed and the platform speed together effectively. So you want to spend as much time on those platforms as reasonably possible to obviously get through the level slightly faster. And that requires quite a bit of precise flying and jumping. And of course, as you saw a few times there, with the tail flip attack, so that you can run right through an enemy, killing it first.
Yeah, and if you don't kill that fuzzy, that fuzzy will hit you, and if he hits you, then you basically die. And then you have to do the rest of the level without a leaf.
And it is significantly slower.
Yes.
That looked amazing.
Oh, okay. So I missed the cycle here, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so at the end of this level, there's the more kind of important cycle, but it's really hard to get the optimal cycle in this level. You have to climb super fast, but at this point, he's,
kind of improvising a little bit.
Yeah, I guess some of the stuff gets a little bit more out of sync than I remembered.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah.
Everything's fine, TM.
Yeah, everything's fine.
As
All right,
intended.
so Resnor's back. This time there are 4 of them instead of 2, so, a little bit harder.
And yeah, you'll see using the tail flip to hit the block that Resnor is standing on a few more times as well. It's nice that they allowed you to do that.
Yeah, so that was a cycle-based level, and normally, at least the way I do that tower, if you can get up to the top of the tower without making any mistakes, then you'd have to wait for about a second on the very last cycle. Unfortunately, I missed that the very first cycle of the level, but we're as long as you don't die, because it is sometimes easy to die because like sometimes you get crushed by those blocks. This is our first ghost house, and ghost houses are usually like these complex levels that trick you into getting lost. There's a lot of the ghost houses in this game are pretty gimmicky. Like the gimmick of this level is that there's this giant boo following us, and if you face left, looking directly at him, he actually stops, which actually stops the progression of the level as well. So I want to be not facing left, if at all possible.
Yeah, and this is going to be another instance of getting a secret exit. So going over there as quickly as possible, hitting the vine and going up. This is going to take the alternate path towards the castle here, and it is significantly quicker, I believe, than going the other path. I don't remember by how much, but it's more than that 6 overall seconds.
Yeah, you do one less level than the intended path, basically, by getting the secret exit.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
A question I have about the flags. I know in some Mario games, where you land on the flag kind of either messes things up or makes things shorter or longer. Is there any specific spot you're looking for to hit on the flag, or does it really matter where you grab it?
So you might notice I'm actually hitting the 2,000 point mark of most flagpoles. I don't do it for every single flagpole because sometimes it's not possible. But basically, Mario and the flagpole, they move at different speeds, and you want them both to stop at the same time. And the 2,000 point mark just happens to be that point, and it saves about a few frames each time.
Oh. Oh yeah, it does.
It's not so much, but it's there. And then the other thing is that you can get Mario to face the other way a little bit quicker once you hit the flagpole. But
it doesn't save time in this game, but in some other NSMB games it does.
Yeah, so like in NSMB 1, you want to actually be facing away from the flagpole when you hit it, because it saves, I think, like a third of a second or something like that. It's actually noticeable. And then in other ones, you can, like New Super Mario Brothers Wii, you can grab the flagpole and then flip around.
All right, so we just kind of talked over what we just did there. So that was our first major skip of the level. So normally there's a giant button that you ride across lava. But as you see with the precise flying movement, you can just skip that entirely.
We don't like auto scrollers. There are enough of them in this run already. Yeah, so here's Lemmy and Iggy. Okay, yeah. I get them mixed up. Like, I've gotten better about not mixing up Morton and Roy, at least, but they have similar color themes.
Iggy comes out in random spots, but you have just enough time to get to where he's about to come out from, to where the randomness does not matter at all.
Oh. That was cool.
So 2 worlds down, so we're about a third of the run through, and now we're moving on to World 3, which is a combination of a beach and forest world combined. The first level is going to be our first introduction to the star power. So stars make you invincible, as well as speed up your movement speed. And you can also chain stars, tradition to a lot of other 2D Mario games, where if you hit certain blocks while being invincible, then it will also contain a star while you have a star.
And star movement is, of course, faster than P speed, so of course we're using that here. Gotta go fast.
Yeah, and it'll always speed you up when you're moving, unlike in New Super Mario Bros., where it only speeds you up when you're running on the ground.
Yeah, it's nice like that, because otherwise there would be quite a bit of tech to be on the ground as much as possible in that level.
Yeah. And without the star, that going through this level is pretty awkward with all those flying cheeps. All right, so this will be the last opportunity where we're using star coins, and so from here on out, any star coin I get for the rest of the run are star coins that are just in my path. So the purpose of spending star coins here is to do one less level. As you see on the top, there's you would have to do 2 levels. This one's a water level, and normally we try to avoid water levels, but doing one less level is better. So we choose this path.
Yeah, also, I believe there's some currents in this one that keep you going at a bit better of a pace than you would in some other water levels.
Yeah.
And actually, coming up in a little bit, there's going to be a little bit of a slight skip using the tail spin attack to kill one of these enemies in here and kind of shorten the maze so you can go through a faster path than you would otherwise.
So, Asuka, would you like to talk about stuff? There's not a whole lot to say about this level as well as the next level coming up.
All right. Well, I can mention that, let's see here. Mention about upcoming Awesome Games Done Quick 2024. Mention about GDQX. One thing I haven't mentioned about is actually this past weekend we did a one-off special that benefited the Crisis text line. And just as a reminder, for those seeking free 24/7 confidential mental health support through Crisis text line, can actually connect via chat, web chat, and WhatsApp in English and Spanish as well. If you ever need to reach a live, trained, non-judgmental volunteer crisis counselor, text HELLO or 443-SUPPORT in WhatsApp to text HOLA to 741741 or 422-AYUDAME, AYUDAME in WhatsApp for Spanish, or just connect with them via web chat. It never hurts to talk to somebody. You never know when that extra friend is going to be needed. I know I've definitely reached out to my friends for help as well, so yeah, keep an eye on that. Being said, let's see here. What is your favorite Mario game in general? Like, in every single one.
That's
if you
easy.
Had to pick one.
Super Mario RPG.
Ooh, nice.
In fact, the remake's coming out, and I'm very excited to play it.
Now, is that something you speedrun as well, or?
No, I don't speedrun, but it's my favorite game to play. If it's a speedrun, it's this game.
Alec, how about you? If you had to throw down your favorite Mario game right now.
I am going to give two answers. For 3D, I'm going to say Odyssey. It's just such a fun game. And for 2D, that one is actually tough. I'm probably going to go with Super Mario Brothers 3, though. There's just too much nostalgia for me with that game.
I definitely appreciate a good Super Mario Brothers 3. Definitely going back to my childhood in that one. I have to give a random shout out to Super Mario 64, just because I never had a Nintendo 64 growing up, but my younger cousins had one, and they had Super Mario 64, but they could never beat it, and they could never get the stars. And I remember them wanting me to play the game for them when I was babysitting, because they didn't want to have their parents feel bad that they got a game they couldn't beat, and they were like 8 and 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So like, okay, well,
right.
It's like I'll play for them and just take credit for it. They were always so happy to be like, look what I did. I'll just be like, yeah, look what they did. Let's see here. Mario, Luigi, and why Luigi for best brother.
Oh, see, so in all castles in 100%, you have the option to play as Luigi in those two runs, and whenever I do runs of those categories, I always play as Luigi.
Ooh.
He has the funnier sounding voice, basically.
Yeah, they have no difference in gameplay in this game, but I like Luigi.
It's like I'm 100% going to show my age here with the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. When I watched it when it was live on television as a child. I know our wonderful producer's glaring, but just remember, Ray, I'm older. But the late, the great Danny Wells, which, again, being the Canadian that he was, happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian viewers. I fell in love with that gentleman playing Luigi, and it just stuck.
All right, so back to the run. In 3-Dash Ghost House, there's a lot of rooms where you have to ride moving platforms in order to get to the next part of the room. But we skipped basically all of that.
Yeah, once again, P speed, and then you just do the spin and fly.
Nice.
Yeah, and that room in particular, it's a really tight P speed to get, and if you don't get it, you pretty much die.
I can do the Mario, but you wouldn't see it.
Can we get Alec on camera?
Ooh.
I actually don't even have a working webcam right now, or at least it kind of sort of works, but it might work for anywhere from about
somebody donate him a camera right now,
like 2 to 3 seconds to like 5 minutes before it dies, and I don't know how long it could be anywhere in that range, but yeah, so I need to get a new one.
Alex somehow anticipated somebody asking him to do the Mario. He's like, let me tell you about this camera. I don't have the time. It doesn't work.
So we got the secret exit in 3-Dash Ghost House, which skips doing the next level, which is a water level. So obviously we don't want to do that.
Nice.
So going into 3-Dash Castle, there's a lot of these razors, and we want to obviously dodge them.
Yeah. So there's. I like this part as well. That a little bit at the end of that section where you have to just do these measured flights so that you land. Okay, so yeah. So that was a rather precise strat that he was going for right there. Unfortunately didn't get it. But if you
got the backup though.
Yeah, if you get the quick P speed, then you can get through that one cycle you had to slow down for a little bit without having to slow down. You can do that whole section, and it looks great when you get it all in one go.
And it saved 1 second, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the backup, that's apparently the backup looked cool. So.
Yeah, the backup is cool as well. Alright, so this is Wendy. You cannot hit Wendy in the water unless you have Fire Flower, but it is not worth getting a Fire Flower just to save time this fight.
And once again, yeah, you hit them in the same place at the same time, you know where they're going to be again. So the rest of the fight is absolutely trivial. And then going up to the top to grab the key quicker, of course.
Yeah, so the whole run's been relatively straightforward for the most part, but starting on World 4 is where the run starts getting very interesting in routing, and that is that in World 4 normally is like the longest world in the entire game. It has the most amount of levels out of all the worlds in this game, but we actually only do 4 levels in this run, so it's the shortest world in the run, which also includes skipping the tower as well.
What? Oh, that
yes. So you can see right here, there's a pipe, for example. And then later on, there's those little toad houses that don't appear to be on the path. So definitely picking the correct way to go through a world can save you a great deal of time.
Yeah. And there's only two major categories where you see a lot of World 4. And that is another warpless category that we have called no secret exits, where, as the name implies, you don't get any secret exits. So you see a little bit more of the worlds, but it's not it's very similar to warpless, so not a whole lot of people run that category. And then there's also the 100% category, where obviously, as it implies, you do every single level.
And I love that even though this is a warpless run, just seeing all the secrets in play, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. I'm a fan of that.
All right, so at this point you can see that there's basically these walls that are moving. So there's a bit of an auto-scroller for a while here. Eventually, M-Chan is going to want to get some piece speed and maintain it to save just a couple seconds, but it's pretty cool tech. Basically, to get the alternate exit, which we want here, you have to go up to kind of a higher level higher area in the level, and it's slightly faster to fly up there, but to actually get up there, one, you have to get piece speed, and then you have to maintain it through this section. So now piece speed got, having to jump and kind of wiggle around a lot in order to maintain that. And that basically just skips doing a little wall jump chain and allows you to enter this door as early as possible.
Oh.
Yeah, so easier and faster, and that's how we like it.
Mm-hmm. It's not as hard to maintain piece speed in this game as it is in SMB3, fortunately. It's much easier.
So, Super Mario Bros. 3 speedrunners, eat your heart outs.
And there's the gauntlet throne. So I saw those bouncing boxes. Did that have any effect on piece speed, or is that just kind of cosmetic in appearance? Like maintaining it, or in the like those wooden blocks that kind of bounced when Mario landed on them.
That does not. That's just whether a platform goes up or down, and basically all you have to do is just keep your jumping and wiggling going. So whether you're on a platform that moves or not, the mechanics are the same.
That's fair.
So we went through this all really quickly. One thing to know about that level is that there are amps, and the amps will electrify you, and then you lose your power up. So you lose quite a bit of time if you get hit by an amp, and you lose all your momentum if you get hit in midair. So I did a somewhat precise dodging around those amps to get through this level.
Yeah, it's not the most difficult thing, but it is very punishing if you mess it up.
Yeah. So the coin block that's been following me, I'm now going to be using it in this castle, and that is to skip waiting for a particular fire bar. And so I get hit by that fire bar, it does not lose me any time, and I don't lose my leaf. And then I hit that stair step in order to slow myself down enough to manipulate getting myself a star from that roulette block. And then I use the star power to pretty much go through the rest of this level. Intentional damage boost right there, because it's not a good way to go through all those giant spiky balls.
The question's been asked. Which Koopaling is your favorite?
probably Roy. He has nice sunglasses.
I think I'd have to go with Ludwig, because he always has these really weird stages and boss fight mechanics.
Yeah, so this is a really difficult boss right here. You just hit him, he goes away, and then he comes back to the top, and then that's the fight.
It's something you would never expect, clearly.
Yeah. So, World 4 completed really fast. Again, normally supposed to be the longest world in the game, but it's the shortest world in the run. The next world, which is World 5, is another somewhat long world, not as long as World 4, but there's still a lot of levels in that world. But, much like World 4, this is a short world, as we only do four levels of this world, which also includes skipping the tower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there are quite a few challenging and fun levels, but there are also a couple auto-scrollers. But obviously, if you don't have to do that many levels, then that's going to save you a lot of time. The unfortunate thing is that it does add an auto-scroller to the run, but, I mean, you do what you have to do.
Yeah, so World 5 is, in pretty much every category that does World 5, known to be very difficult. Lots of most mistakes that you make in these levels will usually cost a handful of seconds, and they can pretty much snowball very quickly. So let's see what happens. That was the first level. Didn't have any trouble with 5-1. Got the secret exit, which will then lead to the top path that will allow us to skip a lot of World 5. This level, if a good old Etiquette was here, he can talk about why he likes this level a lot.
Oh boy.
I mean, I do like most of the ghost houses and what they did in them. This one, it has a couple sections that I would have to say are particularly obnoxious. But
Yeah, if you mess up in this level, it goes really wrong.
Yeah, and of course those little ropes, you want to get past them as quickly as you possibly can, and they are a place where inputs can go awry for sure.
Yeah, and there's some strats that you can do with those swinging ropes, where you can jump the frame that you grab them, and you'll gain a boost out of those ropes. But I don't usually go for it, because a lot of the times whenever I get those types of jumps, I'm usually not ready for them. So I don't go for those jumps.
No, fair.
It's kind of like getting a first frame wall jump in Mario 64. Yeah, we got through that level just fine. And now we have the coin ship level, 5-A. Fortunately, we have to do it once, unlike in 100%, we have to do it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Why do you have to do it twice in a hundo?
Because there's a secret exit. We get the secret exit in this level, which means you gotta get the secret exit and normal exit in 100%.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like I said, the fast route through the world does unfortunately add an auto-scroller, but
it is a nice breather as we're actually towards the end of the run. But it's also 2 minutes. It can also be a curse, because it's 2 minutes of you thinking about how you're going to mess up 5 Castle, which is the next level, or anywhere in World 6.
Yeah, 5 Castle and World 6 are definitely very easy levels to mess up.
Jeez.
Because, of course, they put some effort into making the last world in the game have some challenge. And like I said, Ludwig tends to have kind of interesting levels and interesting boss fights. In this one, hopefully nothing has to be backed up. But yeah, it's one of the trickier ones for sure.
Gotcha.
So the next level coming up is 5-Castle. And so much like 2-Castle, there is a major skip in this level. where there are these brakes that you use to ride across lava, but we're going to be skipping doing any of that, and by doing some precise flying, like the name of the game for a lot of things in this game. And so there's like 3 parts where I have to set up P-speed, and if I mess up any part, then I pretty much have to start the whole level over again. And yeah, I guess we'll see what happens in this level.
Yeah, that alternate exit there, by the way, is one where it's like I got to the I knew there was an alternate exit, and I got to the end, and I ground pounded it the first time through casually, and I was just like, oh no.
It was at this moment. It's like, you're going the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. I think that's how you're intended to find it too.
I could see that. Yeah, 'cause I was like, why are you jumping off? And
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
that's cheeky.
there are a couple things like that, including one coin. But look at all this. This is excellent. Are we going YOLO? We are not going YOLO. You can skip
Sorry,
this
I
part.
like this run.
I know. Yeah, so that would have been YOLO 5 Castle. It is actually trickier than it looks to get that flight properly and get up there past that. I don't even know what the bony piranha plants are called.
Nice.
It's called
So
bony front.
what I just did there is I did a ground pound, and then got hit, and during the hit animation buffered an up input so that way I can stay in the air as long as I could in order to hit Ludwig before he flies up to the top of the screen, and that skips his entire attack phase, where normally he'll come from a random chain up on the top, and you have to use one of those pipe cannons in order to hit Ludwig down.
Textbook. Excellent.
That is
so-
a terrifyingly clean castle.
And so the YOLO that we were alluding to, you can actually fly through the giant bony piranha that I chickened out of doing. It saves 3 seconds if you can get it, but obviously you can get hit by the bony piranha plant as you're flying through it, which means you die.
Yeah. It just no ifs, ands, or buts. You died.
That looked absolutely amazing. Like, how long did it take you to really like get that level down? Because wow.
Not long, to be honest. This game in general, this is actually a very approachable speedrun. I feel like if there's any Mario game that anybody would like to get into, like as their first Mario speedrun, I'd say this is a really good one because there's not a lot of hard tricks in general. Obviously, you got to practice some of the tricks that you have to learn, but once you get them down, it's a fairly simple run. And plus, like obviously, I'm making everything look really easy. But if you lose your leaf, there's usually always a backup leaf somewhere.
Oh, cool.
I'd have to agree. It is an approachable speedrun for sure. More approachable than New Super Mario Brothers or Mario 1 or 3. Like even the Warps version of Mario 3, like you have all those auto-scrollers. This one has a nice variety of gameplay, so if you like the newer 2D Mario games, this is about as good of one as you can pick. If you do want to play it on the original console, it is really hard to get. It is rather expensive to get captured for 3DS, but there are other options. I believe it's on at least one VC, and there is, of course, always the option of emulation. So 3DS emulation is not all that bad, actually.
So in that wall jump section right there, if you time your wall jumps really well, then you actually skip 2 wall jumps, which saves about a second. Just barely missed it, but that's okay. Would have looked cool. So that secret exit in that ghost house allows me to skip the normal path throughout World 6, as the normal path has like two levels that feature 2 very hard auto-scroller skips.
Nice.
So what we get instead is a simple level. So in this level, there's rising lava, but we go so fast in this level that you don't really see the lava rising.
Yeah, it does kind of have a mechanic where it keeps up with you if you go particularly fast, but that doesn't really matter because as you can see, like we're already going fast, and now we have a star, and yeah.
Oh, well done. I will say, I like how you mentioned that this is a very approachable Mario run, because, I mean, when people look at speedruns and they hear Mario, it's almost kind of intimidating because you see so many just amazing Mario runs, and it might be hard for some people to go, where do I start? So
Yeah.
I like the approachability of this while still looking absolutely amazing.
This is a really cool level when it's done right.
Okay. That's okay.
Okay, yeah, so as you can see, there are all these flamethrowers, and then you can hit them to turn them off. We're going to be doing a bit of flight here with a few intentional flight refreshes, as well as hitting that one from below. I always like that. You just hit it from below, jump on it, and then get the flight refresh and a little bit of extra speed.
Oh, that looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a lot of these. Normally, it's a long moving platform section that you're supposed to ride on in order to get to the top of the level. But obviously, we can just fly up to the top. So that was the last wrestler fight. Supposed to be the hardest one. I don't know about you, but yeah, we got past that.
Yeah,
I don't think it is. I actually think I believe it's in one of the worlds that we did not play, or maybe it was World 5. I forget which, but it's not seen in this run.
Yeah.
This level, sometimes you have issues with slopes that are changing while you're on them and getting jumps, but this game fortunately does a pretty good job of not dropping your inputs when that happens. So here, just getting a little bit of an auto-scroller skip, nice and easy to the end.
very nice.
Yeah, and then the next level, there are Bowser statues that shoot fire, and they are cycle base. And there are two parts towards the end of the level where I'm going to be setting up triple jumps in order to get past a bunch of fireballs. And triple jumps give you enough height to just clear them. So without triple jumps, you will not be able to clear those parts. So here's one triple jump right here. There it is. And then the second one is coming up shortly after. Just like that. So the way I'm setting up these triple jumps is, you might notice I'm chaining double jumps a little bit, and that's because when you flutter, it actually stores a first jump, so it makes setting up triple jumps really easy.
Oh.
Yeah, and I really like the design of that level because there are those couple places where it just rewards skill.
Yeah. And if you mess up, then you're on pace to get a 66, which is fireworks, which we didn't talk about. If you get fireworks, the way you get fireworks in this game is by having the last two digits matching the world that you're in. So in this case, I'm in world 6, so I would have need to get 66.
So I will mention right now, before we get to it, that there will be a point in this level where I'm going to give a brief photosensitivity warning. It won't be too long. I'll let you know when that happens. Just taking a couple damage boosts here, going down, and I always like that cheeky little jump off the fire bar, or off the flamethrower there.
That was nice.
Then, of course, why take the block snake when you can just fly?
Yep. And now this part right here. So these Koopalings are going to turn you into stone with their flash attack. It's not that bad on the eyes, so you don't have to worry about it's not like flickering. So if you're not behind the walls, then you get turned to stone. And as you can see with the way this room looks, there's a lot of places where if you get turned to stone in the wrong place, then you just die.
And there, now that section is over, so if you did have to avert your eyes, you're safe.
It works.
This is the corner room here. The fireballs are in the same place, so you can dodge these fireballs the same way each time. And then now we have Bowser. Very hard fight. Let's see how this goes. Hold my breath.
It's like for some reason I'm getting ready to press an X button to down.
Oh, I did it! So that is actually a pretty precise jump. If you jump a little bit too early, you get knocked back. If you jump a little bit late, then you'll clear the jump, but you'll get hit anyway. And so I actually grabbed a leaf in the beginning of the corner room. You don't normally pick it up, but in usually either in marathons or in a run like this, then you always pick up the backup leaf.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So now Mario's going to be riding platforms up. Bowser's going to get big and angry and start swiping at Mario while lava rises. So this is a 3-phase final section, and how it works is Bowser's going to swipe 3 times. He will basically swipe straight down at a place that you're at, and once he does that 3 times, you can get up to the next level by flying. So obviously there's going to be a lot of P-speed maintenance in here, getting P-speed here at the start. Then Bowser.
Yeah, now's the tight P-speed, by the way. If you don't get it, then you either don't get the P-speed, or if you jump a little bit too late, then you hit the lava. So we count 4 swipes here on this first phase, and we make it up to the top, just like that. You don't need P-speed, but it's easier if you have P-speed. And then the second phase of the escape, we can get up to the top to the next part within 4 swipes as well. But in this phase, Bowser will always do a 5th swipe, so you can kind of take your time getting up to the top on this phase without losing any time. And I do these jumps in order to refill my P-speed each time.
Oh, gotcha.
So there's that extra swipe right there.
Yeah, that's unavoidable. And then now we're coming to the 3rd phase. Now there's a giant button up on the top, and that's when time ends as soon as I hit it. Yeah, and you can get up there within 3 swipes. This is really good music, but we go through this part, but because this part's so easy, you don't really hear this music that much. Time.
GG.
GG's.
4703. All right. That was a good run.
I was like, where is this button? Oh.
Yeah.
Done.
One of a couple places where you do a little bit of off-screen stuff. In addition, the pipe at the end of the long auto-scroller underwater tower that was earlier. You can go into that a little bit early while it's off-screen.
Yeah.
Oh, nicely done.
Yeah, that was a really good run. Probably the biggest mistake I can think of was missing the first cycle in 2 Tower. Aside from that, I felt like that was a really good run. My PB is 46-46. I played somewhat on par with my skill level in this game. Thank you to Asuka for inviting me onto the show. It's a lot of fun being a part of this.
I had an absolute fun watching this, and watching chat, they would agree. And where can they find you, first and foremost, and what do you run currently?
Yeah, so I'm live. I'm live on twitch.tv/mshanty38. I speedrun this game as well as other New Super Mario Bros. Games. I actually speedrun all the New Super Mario Bros. Games with my main games being this game and New Super Luigi. And then I also speedrun 2D Zelda games as well. So if you're into Zelda, then I stream Mario and Zelda games very often on my channel.
Nice. And Alec, how about you? Where can they find you? What do you run?
Twitch.tv/Allocate47. I run Sonic games, Mass Effect. I'm going to be diving back into Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic relatively soon as well. And if I can find where my stupid DS got to, I will also be playing some of the fantastically wonderful 2006 Game Boy Advance port of Sonic the Hedgehog 1. It is very much a thing. But yeah, that's what you can expect from me in the near future. This month, probably mostly going to be Sonic Mania and a bit of Sonic 2. And like I said, if I find my DS, my Game Boy Advance speedrun might happen. But then N7 month is next month. And then after that, like I said, I'm hoping to get back into Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So that's what you can expect from me.
Very nice, and my renegade flag out in my front room is flying proudly right now.
Nice.
But yeah, thank you so much for the two of you and everyone else that was on this show. It's been so much fun. Give GG's one more time to MChan338. But that's it. That is the show for the day. Tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have Game Masters running some Forspoken. And then after that, we have How to Train a Speedrunner with Neopets the Darkest Fairy. So you're not going to want to miss either of those runs. But that happens tomorrow. Sit tight, though. The speedrunning is not done for the day, but we might be heading off for a little bit. Good hydration break in. So GG's, and we will see you. Well, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.